Okay. Well, look at that berry. Look at that tasty berry right here. We're going to do the berry. We're going to do it. Okay. You put in your 914 in the center. Now, for the good stuff. Let me tell you what colors you're going to need. For now, we may add some more. You just never know what I'm going to do. Okay. We're going to use colors number 1068. I know, right? White. 914. 10. No. I lied. Scratch that. I thought I wrote them down. I guess we didn't, so I'm just going to tell you they're off to my side here. We're going to use 914, 118, 122, maybe 926, 923, 924, 925, 1030, white, 1001, and the 928, and maybe 1003. Maybe. These are maybe colors. These are all maybes. You just never know what I'm going to throw at you. Okay. We're going to start with 122, though. Okay. Now, here is the tricky part. This is a detailed part. So it really will benefit you to have a sharp tip and be ever so gentle with your touch. In this picture, you can see these dark lines, right? In the strawberry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some of my darker shaded areas, and I'm going to gently put in this layer of shading you see here that I'm going to do. Kind of bringing it from a broad point to a very narrow point. And I'm just doing a light layer. I'm being careful, just going layer over layer. Just to get that effect there. See how I did that? Kind of looks like a little triangle. That was Gretel. She's letting me know she's behind me. Now, I'm going to do this for each little bit that I can see and kind of evenly spacing some of them. Gretel, what is it, Biscuits? You hear her sounding off? Okay. What, baby? She's talking to y'all. She's saying hello. What are you doing? Stop that. She's pawing at the wall behind me. Here she comes, Miss America. She's going to throw me off my game. She's going to come right up here on my lap. I know it. She is. She's right here. You want to come say hi? Gretel, come here. Come say hi. What is with you? Why are you trying to get underneath the lap thing? Gretel. She's trying to hide her head in my lap, like something's wrong. Biscuit, what's the matter? Gretel. I don't know what she's doing. She's being a weirdo. Let me see if I can show you what she's doing. She's right there. Oh, there she goes. I don't know what that was all about. That was weird, right? She's being a nerd. I don't know what she's up to. She's being a weirdo. Okay, back to the berry. Cat hair and all. But now you see what I put up with. You just, most of the time, you don't see her. But she's a little heathen. Okay. Anyways, back to what I was doing. I'm carefully trying to input these. I'm doing a light coat, by the way. I'm just trying to follow these little lines here. Oh, now she's going to flip my stuff on the ground and be a brat. I see how she is. I got scratch paper off to the side. Anyways, these don't have to be perfect right from the get-go because Gretel, stop it now. Now she wants to play. She's such a brat. So I know it's really hard to see if you're using the light one like I am, but I'm just trying to do your best to guess and give a nice spacing between some of them. Oh, she's so funny. She just blasted off. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just, those little lines that kind of make it look like a berry. Because you're trying to think of it like you cut a berry open and you're seeing the insides. Okay. So if that helps explain when you're looking at it. But it is kind of tricky to get these little lines in here. So just do the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means. Because this is just like your first layer coat of this red. We've got so many colors to put in here to make this berry look like you want to pick it off the page. Ugh. You might have to turn your paper too to get good angles. I like to try to go with the darkest ones first that I can see. If I could see them, I could better try to get these lines in there. So I'm trying to go with the shading that the artist has in here. And then I'm just working from that. And if I can't see them, I just add it in. And it doesn't have to be equal to the other side because I know mine are not. And I don't think a natural berry would be anyway. I don't think both sides are going to match. Okay. So you can see here I'm just going along, trying to follow the shape of the berry. So as the berry changes as it goes down, I'm trying to keep in sync with that. The best I can anyway. And then there's a few little ones down here. And then that very last one. Tricky, tricky. Okay, my nose is going to run now. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to take my 122 and see that dark shaded line in the center. I'm going to just go over it really lightly. Not doing anything special. I'm just going over that dark shading in the center with my 122. It's kind of giving it some shape. And again, that doesn't have to be perfect. You're just kind of giving a little bit of an outline of what is going to be there. Okay? My nose is running. Why? Why me? I swear. It drives me nuts. Okay. Now I'm going to take my white. I know it seems weird because it's white on white paper. Just do it. Don't argue. Okay. As my nose runs and I have no Kleenex. Okay. I'm going to go with a light layer of white in between each one of those little red, I guess we can call them little stripes that we just did. You're just really gently, if you get a little bit of your red mixed in with your white, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just try to put a light layer in there of that white. This gives you a base to work with when you start laying these other colors in. You're going to want that white. Trust me. And, you know, getting used to using a white or light base color like this, again, it's really going to help you. Especially when you're doing these kind of really details on your pictures. Because when you put a dark color over a light color and you erase it, it's going to be a lot easier to pull it off the paper than it is if you're going to put that dark color down first. Because erasing or removing too much dark color is really hard. So again, I'm just doing a nice light coat in between. And if I get some of my red in there, I'm not panicking. It'll be just a little pink, and that's okay because your strawberry is going to end up kind of a pinkish color with some red and some orange and some salmon color in there. It's going to be cool. Now, this is not like my other berries. Okay, I'm going to do a little around the top here of that white and down the sides. I know I missed these couple up top here. Okay, I'm just scribbling in a little bit. But people who paint know how to do underpainting typically. And I'm going to go over that cream color in the center just a little bit. I don't know what she's doing over there. She's making noise. Gretel's being a monster because I'm on video. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, you see what I've done there? All I've done is put a base layer down. I'm kind of got a pattern going on. I'm thinking, okay, cool. This is going in a direction I like. So what's my next color? My next color, I think I'm going to take my... I'm spinning my brain here. Let's take that 118 into the center here. Take a little bit of your 118 and go along the outer edge of that shaded area we just did. Just put a little bit on the outer edge there, real lightly, and kind of bring it down a little bit over those lines that you just did with that 122. You're just putting a little color on the page. The effect this is going to give is really cool. I promise. Okay, you can see what I did there? Just a little bit. That's it. That's all you need on the paper. Now, I've done that. I'm going to take my... Yep, I'm going to do it. Let's go with our 925. A good tip is always key. Mine's a little dull right now, but I'm going to take my 925. I'm going to start down here where it's darkest, and I'm going to repeat just the beginning of each little bit that I did. I'm not going to run it all the way down because remember, it's going to get lighter as you go towards the center. And I'm not going to do this dark red all the way up. So I'm going to go just far enough up, I think, on this side, because there's some, you got the berry on the background here, sitting on top of the cake. So I'm kind of adjusting some of my shapes as I go here. And this one, I'm not going to go. I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to leave those top two without the dark. Because I'm going to put this dark red right here. I'm going to put a light coat of this deep 925 just over that shading. So ever so gently, scumble in a little bit of your 925 going around your seeds. That's it. And then on this side, I think I'm going to start about third one down. I'm going to add in a little bit of that dark red right around the top here. working that my way down. We get these little ones at the bottom here. Oops. See, if I had a sharper tip, I wouldn't have done that. It's hard to get fine details without a really nice point. Okay. Yippee, yippee, yippee. Now, I'm going to set half of these pencils that are in my hands down, and I'm going to sharpen my 923. Okay. With my 923, I'm going to start at the top here. Now you see why I didn't want to color that bow yet. By all means, go ahead and do your right hand bow if you want. I just didn't want to because I'm going to be rubbing across my page. So I'm starting at this top, and I'm going to kind of blend and give myself, still working in a light coat, but I'm kind of working these little wedges, so to say, on that berry. I'm giving them a shape with the 923. And right over that 925. Again, they just look like little wedges almost. But I'm being very gentle not to apply too much pressure. As you get into the little bit of darker color, kind of use your small circles to kind of mix the colors a little bit. And just do that on all of them. Again, I'm trying to stay with that line there. Trying to be really careful not to booger this up as I'm doing this for you. Fruit can be really fun to do if you take your time. You can make it look really realistic. And I think it's one of the easier things to do, especially to learn how to do. If you can color fruit or draw it and give it more of a lifelike, you could probably create a lot of really cool stuff. And it was one of the first things I learned how to draw. But again, my fruit looked disastrous. Even though my color was good, the shape of my fruit was hilarious. Again, I think I told you that story. I took that art class, that drawing class. Oops, see, I messed that one up. But I think I can fix it. And we laughed and laughed and laughed. My color was good, but my picture was horrendous. It's pretty funny, though. I did learn stuff in that class, but, you know, I took it for fun. Why not, right? It was something to do, and it was fun. It was interesting. But I think it was that final class I took, I realized, you know, I can't draw. And to be honest with you, I didn't really take that class to learn to draw. I took it to just learn some technique. And I was fine with it. I had fun with the class. You know, I think I'm going to add one little sliver up top here. But I had fun. My teacher got a good laugh. We all got a good laugh. And I'm pretty sure I could, if I really wanted to learn how to draw, I think if I applied myself, I probably could have done a lot better. But I'm going to use some of this 923 around this berry here. Just putting a little magic around the seeds. But I do believe if I applied myself more, I probably could have. But honestly, I'm so bad at drawing, I just didn't care. Okay, now I'm going to take my Slammin' Salmon 1001. And this is where it gets kind of tricky. So with my salmon, I'm going to start up here. And I'm just putting a light coat of that salmon in between. Now remember, you put white in there. So I'm going over the very top edges of the red. And then I'm putting a little bit of the salmon in between over the white areas. And I'm just doing a nice light coat. I'm going to go around some of the top here with that salmon. Again, I'm not using a lot of pressure. Just kind of throwing some of it in there. And again, I'm going around the edge when I'm doing this as well. So I'm trying to explain this the best I can. If your red mixes a little bit, that's all right. That gives it a more natural look. I'm going to pull this around the edge here. Cat hair. And I'm doing this on each one. I'll go around that edge. Okay. I'm just working in between those red lines. And I'm going to go all the way up. Oops. Got a couple more up here to do. Okay. A little more up top here. I see some spots I missed, so I'm kind of going back, just getting a little bit of more color in there. Starting to look pretty snappy. I'm going to put a little in here and right down there. Might put a little up top here. We're not done with that whipped cream either, by the way. And I'm going to put some down at the bottom. Just didn't want you to think I left the whipped cream like that. I didn't. Okay. Now I'm going to take my 926 and I am going to go over these lines, these little wedges I did with another layer. And you're going to notice your color is going to change, and your lines should be a little sharper and a little neater now. Your wedges should really start to look like wedges at this point. If they don't, try to shape them. Just like make a little triangle at the top and then slowly narrow it as you go in. That's how I do it. It helps to kind of give you that good angle. You can see I just blend that color at the top and then work it down. Oops. It's just a different way of doing a berry. I think I want some more over here. Especially when you're doing the inside of a berry. You got the guts, so to say. The guts of the fruit. Okay. I'm going to do each wedge. You can kind of see how they are coming together now, and they got a little bit of shape to them. No matter how small they are, you should have a nice wedge or a semi-wedge, as best you can anyway. Sorry, I get quiet when I'm concentrating. I wonder where Gretel went. She must be concentrating too. Contemplating is more like it. Little heathen. She was good all day when the guy was here fixing my sink. But she's funny because she's kind of antisocial because she's taken after my older cat, and it drives me crazy. I don't like that. I want her to be social and not be afraid of people. She had a tough start in life. It wasn't fair. But I don't want her to be fearful. I want her to feel comfortable in her own home and not worry that people are bad. I think the start of her life was rough, you know. Okay, now I'm going to take this 926 and I'm kind of going over that center bit just a little bit. Again, I'm just kind of going over what's already there, the red that I already put in and the little bit of that 118. I'm just going right over it with a nice light coat. I'm not doing anything crazy. Cool beaners. Now I'm going to take my white again. And I'm just going in between these little wedges with a little bit of the white. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of blending the salmon and the white. Again, you don't want to do a heavy coat because you want to put more color on here. So you just want to do it gently. You're keeping these lines separated. Trying to give it that nice sharp look without blending. I mean, you're still going to blend, but you want to keep that red from going into those white bits. The areas you want to keep light. And those little center bits there, and right around the edge a little bit. Just throwing in a little of that white. Okay? I think I'm going to put a little white out here too. Right along the top. And along the bottom. Over that salmon. Okay. Now I think I will take... I'm thinking. Do I want to do this now, or do I want to... I think I want to wait. I think I'm going to use my... I'm going to take my 1030 for right now. And I'm going to go over... See that where the berry is there? That line? I'm going to go over that with my raspberry here. That sharp. And I'm pulling a little bit out onto these shaded areas. Maybe a little dark bit on some of these little wedges. Go down around this berry. I think I'll do a couple on this side with that dark raspberry. I'm not doing all of them, just a few that I think will be better if they're darker. Yeah, I think that's good. Now I'm going to take my 924 and I'm going to sharpen it. Take my 924, my crimson red. I'm going to start over here with my crimson. And I'm starting up top with these wedges and kind of doing the tips. I'm going to hit these edges in here. You see how it's given a nice coating? That's what you want. I'm going to come up around the berry, just the tip there under that leaf, and put a little bit of that 924. I'm going to do all the tops of my little wedges with 924. Pulling it down just a little bit. Okay, so I got those nice triangle shapes there. And some of your wedges will be lighter, some of them will be darker. Okay. Working my way to the bottom here. And you can see as I'm building up these layers now. You can really see the definition of the shape. That's why light layers are so much easier to do. When you do these in light layers, you can really you can change and mold your shape of what you're doing. You can move that color around. You can get it to do what you want. When you go all in, all heavy and hard, it's a lot harder to move that color. So a friend of mine, I just found out today, I felt very sad for her, but she's okay. She had surgery to remove a pancreatic tumor. She's my age. We went to school together. She's so sweet. She's such a nice person. And I didn't know. I think it was something that, it was a sudden thing. They found out. They scheduled her for surgery to get it out immediately. They were able to get it all, thank God. She went to one of the best hospitals here in our state, which is where I had my back surgery, so I know she was in really good hands because they got fabulous doctors there. But I just felt so bad for her because that's awful. She must have been in a lot of pain. Anyways, I'm going to go around the top of this just a little bit, around the edge here. And then I'm going to go over that shading part. And I'm not doing all of it. I'm just kind of doing the inner bit here. And then this part here. It's going to make it look a little darker, and that's what you want. And then right down here at the bottom. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to go a little bit out here. I'm using a gentle touch here on the actual berry, the flesh part that's touching the cake. I'm not getting real heavy. I'm just kind of adding a little red in there because there's a lot of shading there. So I'm going to darken and I'm going to lighten at the same time. But yeah, I feel bad. I haven't seen her in a long, long time, but we're still friends. We still chit-chat once in a while. Her husband's really a nice guy. She's got a great support system, and they got it all. So she's going to keep me posted on her next follow-up and how that goes. So she didn't say if it was cancer. She just said it was a tumor. So I don't know any more details, and I don't know if they know yet if it's cancerous or not. But it's really scary. Any of that is really scary. So now I'm going to take my salmon, and with my salmon, I'm going to go in between these spaces here. And you can see how that darkened up because you have those layers underneath. Again, I'm just using light pressure. I'm not doing anything nutty. I'm just going with my pattern that I already had. Try to get a good light, even coat on all of that. And you can really go around your shapes. But yeah, that was scary. I was like, oh, dang. It's just a slow reminder that everybody's getting older. And I had my 30-year class reunion. How about that? Stick that in your pocket and think about it. 30 years. Can't believe it. Time goes by so fast. It really does. You know, you can't wait till you're 18. Then you can't wait till you're 21. And once you're 21 and you blink, you're 50. So be kind to yourself because you will pay for it. I know. And it hurts when you get older. Arthritis. Ugh. And I feel for everybody who's got arthritis in their hands because I have it. I've learned how to cope with it. I don't have any magic tricks. I don't take any magic drugs. I take Advil. But just be kind to your body. when you're young, because it will catch up, I promise. And I know people, like, when we were kids, we all said, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm not like you. Yes, you are. It'll catch up. It's human nature. It is going to catch up to you, and it's going to do it with a vengeance. I am paying for everything I did as a kid. Being a Gen Xer, we were dangerous kids. We were always out doing things, building ramps, jumping our bikes. We were a handful of a generation. We were good kids, though, but we were always breaking things, putting our bodies through the ringer. Okay, so now you see what I did there. Now I'm going to take my, let me think. I think I'm going to, yep. I think I want to take that 924 over this little bit here. I'm going to work this center bit a little bit more. Kind of working these little lines in here. Okay. I need my dark raspberry. I know I rotate my colors, but it's my process. I'm trying to call them out as I change them, so hopefully I don't flip through ones and I miss them. If I do, just message me and I'll tell you exactly what color it was that I used in that particular spot if you miss what I say or I didn't call something out. Okay, now I'm going to take my, I think I'll take my salmon, put some salmon in here. I'm going to go over that red, those lines with the salmon. See how I just went over? It didn't really do much. Okay, now I'm going to take my 118 and I'm going to go around the edge with 118. Just giving a little whirl. I know you probably can't see much, but I am putting a very light, gentle coat of 118 around the line details of that center bit. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything crazy. And I think I might, trying to decide. Let's take my 122 and let's work this bit on the edge here. I'm going to work this flesh a little bit. There's some seeds there, and I'm just kind of going around them. This permanent red is a good bright red. Okay. I'm going to take my salmon. I'm going to give that red a blend with that salmon. So I'm blending those reds a little bit, spreading that out between the different reds I put in there. Just kind of giving it a good bit of contrast. Now I'm going to take 926, which is a little on the pink side. I'm working around the seeds and around that edge there. Okay, right down around the bottom. Now, take your 1003. I'm going to go around the edge is the most important. So I'm kind of blending those reds with that orange, that yellowy orange color. It's going to make that berry pop a little bit with that red. Go around the bottom here. Tricky, tricky. I think I'm going to add a little tiny bit of this yellowy orange right around the top. And then right in this, right in the area of those highlights we did, put a little bit of that just right over top of it. You're going to start to see that 118 stand out that's on the edges of that. Be a little bit darker. And again, I'm just kind of scribbling over it with my pencil. Okay. Now, take your 928, right? 928. And with your 928, go over your reds very carefully. You're going over your reds. You're going over your salmon. See how when I do this, you still see the shape underneath. You still see the red. You still see the shape. You're seeing everything underneath. I'm going right over top the white, the salmon. I'm just giving it a good blend. And I'm working it towards that center portion of the berry. I know it seems really weird, but you're going to get a really cool looking berry when you do this. You're not pushing hard. If you push hard, you're going to blend away all those beautiful little triangle shapes you put in there. You should be doing a very, very light touch as you're mixing these colors and blending it towards the center. And if you did this right, you will be able to get this cool effect like I'm doing right now. So you got that nice pink inner flesh of the strawberry. You got the bright red bites of the strawberry like it was sliced in half. And you still retain that wonderful shape that you put in there. I mean, you go to all that work to kind of draw those in. The goal is to keep them there, right? So again, you see I have a really sharp tip. I am not pushing hard. I'm just being very careful. But I am getting enough of that pink on the paper that you can actually see it. And it's going to dull out that red too. When you go over it with that pink, your red's going to fade out. That's all right. It'll sharpen right back up. So you're going to go around the top over that yellow orange you put in. Nice small circles to blend that. So I'm getting a nice coat on my paper. And I'm just going over around the edges now of that, those oranges I put in around that center bit, that fleshy pit. Kind of giving it a good mix. Now I'm going to hit this out here. This part's getting pretty coated with my colors because it's such a smaller area. I'm going to have to fill in my seeds here. But I need more red when I'm done with this. Okay, so now you see you got a really good layer going, right? So take your 122 and go over your bits. Go over your little angles again. Go over each angle. You should really feel your pencil glide across your paper now. Like, you're not going to be able to add too much more color. Your pencil should be really slick on the paper and you should feel it. Because you have built up so many layers. You should notice that slickness. And that's the love of the Prismas. So you can see I'm just blending and kind of pulling those shapes. Okay. Cool, cool. I'm going to do this for each one. Just building up that beautiful underlayer. And now my top layer. It is time consuming. It really is. This process takes a long time. But when you're patient and you work your pictures, you get such beautiful results in the end. And being as we are human, we always want instant satisfaction. Patience is something I had to learn when doing my pictures, because I would get in a big hurry and I press too hard, and then I would quickly give up on a picture if it wasn't looking exactly how I wanted. But I've learned, even if your picture is not what you wanted it to be, take a break. Come back, take a look at it again later, see if you can color correct using different colors, or if you can just change it. Because once you've got so much down on paper, it's really hard to try to erase or take those colors away. But color correcting can sometimes, just adding a little bit more color to something or a different color can really change a picture. So you can see I'm just kind of scumbling in a little bit of that red over those colors. And I'm going to do the same down here. So this 122 is a nice bright red. And I'm going to do it over on this side. I'm going right over that, some of that pink and salmon I had been there. And you can see how it changes, and right over that orange, it really pops that color out now. So now you're seeing how that bright cherry red color, I guess it's like fire engine red. But you got the contrast of the many different colors you put in there, along with those bright parts, those dark parts. So when people say, how did you get your strawberry to look like that? You can tell them. Lots and lots of layers. Lots and lots of beautiful layers to do that. Look at that, and we're not done. I hope you like this berry because it's a lot of work and you should be proud of yourself. Okay, so now I need to do my other side. I almost forgot. Almost forgot to do these wedges over here. So make sure you do all your wedges. Don't be like me and be forgetful. Even if I did them, I still need more. I want more on my wedges. I don't have enough. Okay. So do all your wedges on both sides. Make sure you get a good coat of color in there. My camera is moving again. I just don't think I have enough here. Make sure you get your bottom bits in there. And I'm going to go up here a little bit. And put some more up in here, I think. Needs a little bit more. Okay, now I think I'm going to take my salmon and I'm going to work this top portion a little more with that salmon, just right around the top. Not too heavy. Just going to bring it down a little, and I'm going to work over this reddish orange color. Just kind of blending the edges softly. A little more down here. You can see I'm going up in between those white lines, or what were once white lines, with that salmon. Again, I'm doing it fast because it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just getting enough in there and kind of moving that color around a little bit. I know I missed these upper ones, so I'm just going to come back in here. I'm going to take my white really quick. A little bit of that white in here. I want to lighten up. I got a little too much of that orange in there. So put a little more of that white right here. Okay. Now I'm going to take my my 928, and we are blending. We are mixing our 928 right over our red. We're giving a nice coat. See how my wedges are staying put? That's what you're after. You got your different colors. You're kind of moving some of that red into the salmon, into the lighter area. But you also got that pink and that nice orange glow underneath. I'm going to go up top here. I'm going right over that white spot because it's still going to stay a lighter spot. I'm going to work this top bit. I'm getting a nice coat in there. I'm going over all these red ones. And I'm blending that all towards the center. So now you're throwing in that pink. You've got that flesh of that salmon underneath. I'm just going to work this until I get a nice coating. Again, I'm not pressing hard because you can tell if I go hard. My tip's very sharp. I'm just making sure I'm getting this all evenly coated from top to bottom. It's going to take some time because if you work in small circles like I do and you have a sharp tip, it's going to take some time. But that sharp tip is going to be your friend when you're blending stuff like this and you want to get in those little spaces and you don't want to mix away your picture like this. So if you've drawn in or colored in little wedges like that, you want to keep those sharp tips. And again, I'm going right over that red. So you can see those red, it's staying just how I kind of drew it or colored it in there, however you want to say that. And that's because I built up those layers and I used that undercoating. Again, I'm just going to give it once more over. I'm going to go over that little bit of white in the center and those dark parts. So basically, I'm going over all of it with this pink. I'm making sure to get every little spot. I want to blend every little inch. I mean, after this, you're not going to get too much more color on here. I am going to put a little of the pink right here on this outer part of the berry. And right down in here. Okay. Now, where is my raspberry? This is the 1030. I'm just going to do a little in certain parts. And then I'm going to take my 923. Kind of sharpen that raspberry up a little bit. Because that is a really dark color. So I'm just brightening up the darkness of that color. But I didn't do all those little bits last time, so kind of using this red. Now with my 923, I'm just going to go around the tops of these wedges. You see what's happening here? It's putting that bright pop right back over your wedges. I mean, your paper should be darn near burnished at this point. When you build up this many layers, you start to get that burnished effect. Like it or not, it happens. I'm going to pull some of these out just a little bit. Just kind of pulled my lines to a sharp line there. Right around the top. How you like that? Pretty cool, huh? So take your salmon and give your light areas a good coat. And this should pretty much burnish your page. If you need to add a little more of the pink back in, you can. But the salmon should move around just enough of that pink and red that should give you that good pinkish, peachy flesh color. And the areas that you had the whitest should be a little more brighter, and that's what you want. So where that orange is, it should be a brighter color. So remember I told you by adding in that 118, you're like, uh-oh, that's not going to look good. But it does. That's where your brighter inside parts are, and the brighter parts of the edge of your, I guess I call it a strawberry vein. I don't know. The guts of your strawberry there. See how I'm just going in between here? And it's pretty much not much left of the white of my paper. I've pretty much got that all covered. I see a couple little spots I could tone up here, and that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put some little highlights in as soon as I get these little bits. You probably can't see what I can see on my page, but I'm seeing some little flecks. Okay. I'm going to take my white, because I want a little bit more of a white. I'm just lightening up this really peachy spot up top here, and then right in the center. I want a little bit more. I think I want to put a little bit more of my pink in, my 928. Yes, that's better. A little bit more of that pinky flesh. There's certain spots that were just looking a little weird to me. Okay. And I can take my 924, and if you want to darken up any more of these areas, now's the time to do it. Because this should pretty much finish off your berry, except for a few details around these seeds. I'm going to put a little more red in some of these spots over here. And I can totally feel this side of my page. This is it. This side of the berry where it's touching that cake. Yeah, it's pretty much not going to get any more color in there. It's about done. But like right here, there's a couple spots. Definitely can put some more color. Just a little bit, little redder. I don't want to do them all the same though. So you can see these are darker over here. Some of these are lighter. That's exactly what I want. This is my 122. Just want to brighten up some of these that are in the more light area. I'm pretty much at my end for how much color I'm going to get on here. What am I watching? Some outdoor bear attacks? Put little at the ends here. Yep. So, what do you think of that strawberry? Poppin', right? Poppin', poppin'. Yellow Posca for your seeds. So do your little seeds here. No, I didn't fill those in with my typical yellow like I do sometimes before when I like color the whole berry. Then I think I'm going to put a couple little seeds. Just kind of give it some character. Okay. Now I'm going to take my do I have here for color? Let's take this stinking 931. Take 931. And I'm just going to define that line right there. I'm using 931. When your Posca dries, you can use your 931 to go over your seeds or around them. Mine's not quite dry, so I'm just going to smear it if I do that. And it's also good for this little center bit for more deeper. It still looks red, doesn't look purple. So what do you think? Do you like it? I like it. Let me see if I can. Okay, can you see that okay? There we go. What do you think of that piece of fruit? I'd eat that. I'd totally eat that. I think that looks really good. I hope you like it, because I do. Now, you can always take your white gel pen, if you must, and put some white in there. If you really want that to stand out. Put a little white in there. If you're one of those people and you just can't handle it, go for it. Put a little white in there. Doesn't matter to me. Tap it down a little bit. Okay. So, okay, that's berry 1. We've got 4 more friggin' berries to do, and another bow, and a chocolate cake. So I'm going to post this part. We're going to call it part 1 of the chocolate cake. Do your other ribbon. Do me a favor. Do your right hand ribbon. Get her done. And then next video, I'm going to jump right into this. And we'll do that little bit of whipped cream. We are going to use 928 on your whipped cream, just a little bit. So if you want to go in and put a little bit in there, you go right ahead. I'm just following those shading lines with this 928. Not doing anything crazy. But we'll polish this up, because this whipped cream is going to kind of look like the filling that we're going to make in our cake. So, I'd have jumped right into it, but I think this video is long enough. And I will save this cake for the next one. Do your berry. Get her done. I want to see those fancy dancy berries. All right. It's been fun. Until next time.